Falling. Last thing you remember. Well, before that, of course, dying. How could one forget that? Car crash you found yourself in. Straight through. 80 miles an hour you remember you were going at. Ramming straight into whatever it is you did. No one's surviving that. At least, most aren't. Before you knew it, you remember that you woke up in a black room. Not floating, but not quite standing. Maybe it was heaven? Who the hell knows? Regardless, you met this god. Not the god you thought you'd meet. He described himself as one of the gods of another world. And he said that you got a chance at reincarnation to this world of fantasies and magic. Sounds too surreal to be true, but regardless, he lets you pick out a new appearance, a new race even, some skills and some magic to take along with you. After some careful deliberation, you took some, and he sent you on your way. The next thing you know, here you are, falling out of the sky. You're not too conscious currently. Your mind's still kind of wrapped and taken aback by what has happened. Until next thing you know, you crash into the ground. You don't take any damage. You assume the god prevented you from falling, and you sit up. And you look around yourself. You see green plains. To the very back of you is a large mountain range. You can't see beyond it. To your far, far left is a very large-looking forest. You yourself are sitting what appears to be on the peak of a hill. You're not sure where you
Okay.
are. No idea what's happening. The first thing you do is kind of look at yourself, look down at your clothes, and it is indeed kind of the person you chose to look like. You look at your back, and sure enough, wings. You had picked a fallen angel, and you have wings. You move around for a bit and experiment, and notice that you can retract them at will and pull them out whenever you feel like. You're not sure where you are, but I suppose that's for you to find out.
All right. Uh, can I try flying?
Sure. You spread your wings out and attempt to fly. It feels weird at first because you've never flown before, and continued and try to boost up. The first few attempts result in you getting maybe a few inches off the ground before face planting into the ground. Uh, a few more
God damn it.
times, slowly and surely, you get more and more off the ground. It takes a few hours, but eventually you manage to get the hang of it and stop, falling into the ground. However, you still don't feel confident enough to go high into the sky because if you were to fall, you might not, survive with just a few bruises.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What was to my left of me again?
uh, to your far
The
left, and I mean
forest.
like pretty far away, like over almost at the horizon. Not at the horizon, but decently far away is a forest, very large one.
All right. I head towards the forest.
Okay. You begin walking towards the forest, heading off the hill you kind of smashed down on. As you walk across the forest, you take in the landscape. It's a very peaceful looking plains, some rabbits hopping about. Well, at least what look to be rabbits. They kind of look like rabbits to you, but at a closer inspection, they're definitely very different from rabbits. There are some trees floating around, but sparsely placed. But other than that, it's very peaceful scenery. You don't see anything that really looks dangerous to you. Regardless, you continue to kind of hovering towards the forest, getting used to flying all the while, but it's not confident enough to go up. You approach the forest, and you're now at its entrance. You can either explore the forest, maybe go in deeper, maybe explore the outskirts or something else.
I first want to explore the outskirts of the forest before going in deeper.
Okay. You first trace the outskirts of the forest, and and just not looking for anything in particular, just kind of you know, looking for anything interesting. But however, besides like the sheer amount of trees, you don't really notice much on the outskirts of the woods besides, you know, plants and trees. There seem to be a large amount of,
Alright.
you know, of different varieties of trees as well. Regardless, there's nothing really, nothing of
Really?
note.
Okay. I would like to head deeper into the forest.
Okay. You begin heading deeper into the forest. As you walk in, you really take in the sights. You look around. There are many trees. Some tall, some short. Some leaves are slightly different color. On the ground, there are many different plants. They look like just grass at first glance, but the more you look at them, you definitely tell some of them are probably herbs. Some of them may be vegetables. Some of them have berries on them. Some of the trees even have fruit on them.
May I please collect some of them?
Collect the berries? Yeah, sure. You reach
Collect
down.
the herbs.
Well, you only have
Try
so
to
much to
collect
you
everything.
only have enough to fit in your hand, you know.
You, am I allowed to use any of the skills that I chose when before coming into this world?
I literally said that in the beginning.
Yes. Okay. My brain's not braining right now. Give me a sec. All right then.
Okay, so you activate Pocket Dimension and your advanced skill Pocket Dimension. You weren't quite sure how it was supposed to work, but you kind of just like felt the activation and it kind of appeared before you. What appeared before you is essentially a large floating transparent box. You can tell that if you put things into it, it'll likely go, you know, into it. You begin picking away at
Yeah.
whatever you find interesting. Any plants that look like, I don't know, a herb. There are some bushes with some interesting looking fruits on them. You grab those as well. You're not quite sure what you're grabbing, but you just tell yourself it couldn't hurt to do. As you pick up plants, you notice some of them have roots, some of them are root vegetables. They remind you of plants from your world, but slightly different. As you continue to head on to the forest, you're kind of just grabbing whatever. And it notes to you that you don't actually know how much room you have in your pocket dimension.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. I stopped grabbing things for now. Then.
Okay. Satisfied with how much you've grabbed and pocketed away for now, you continue to head towards the forest. Head into the forest. You don't really know where you're going, nor how big this forest is, but it seems peaceful for now. Uh, as you walk in, the chirping of birds kind of soothes you a bit. However, there
Very,
really isn't.
very nice.
Yeah, yeah. There's not much. There's not much. It seems peaceful enough. As you look up, you can sort of see the sun peeking through the forest, and you note that it's probably around 3 p.m. at this point. You continue to
Okay.
move you continue to move to the forest. Not really sure. You can either turn back or continue forward or do something else.
I think I want to continue going forward. I'm gonna see where this goes.
Okay. You continue to
I'm
head
thinking
deep.
to myself, all right, I
You
might as well
continue to
keep
head
going
deeper
in.
into the forest, and you continue passing by some animals. At one point, you saw something that looked like almost like a pig. I'm not really sure what that was about, as well as some small furry creatures climbing around the trees, which you find very.
Uh,
You start to get tired, however. I mean, you're not tired, however. For you're not sure how much rest you've gotten up until this point, but clearly that you didn't sleep long whenever you landed. It's not exhaustion, but you know if you don't like get some rest soon, it's gonna end up winding up to be real exhaustion.
Right, then I I might as well. I told myself I might as well try, to take a rest. So
Okay.
I climb up into a tree and take a nap.
You fly up into a stable-looking tree. You fly up into a stable-looking tree, and look for a large enough branch to sleep on. You find one eventually, and sit and lay down, and just take a quick nap. You're probably gonna sleep until the evening, and then see what happens then. However, as you close your eyes, the tree begins to move. You're not sure if it's like
Uh,
an animal or something. However, you look down and see that the tree you were sleeping on has popped up roots. Has popped up and began walking. It doesn't seem to care
oh,
about you or what you're doing or sleeping on it. However, it is like kind of walking around, just kind of moving. You watch it, and using its branches as arms. It picks up fruits and other fruits and vegetables from both the ground and the trees around you. And what you can't really tell what's happening, but it looks like it's the best way you could describe it is it looks like the tree is sucking out the energy from the fruits and vegetables and absorbing it into itself, kind of like draining its essence, if that's the best way you could put what you're happening. You're not sure if it even notices you or if it just doesn't care about you. Regardless, that's now happening.
yeah. All right. I fly off the tree, thinking to myself that if it could probably absorb things that fruits, vegetables, stuff, could possibly absorb me if it notices me, or if it deduces that I'm a threat. So I decide to try to get off and try to find a new place to rest.
Mm. You fly off the tree and land for a bit. The tree almost looks like it turns to look at you for maybe a few seconds and then immediately goes back to what it was doing. Whatever it is, has zero interest in you.
Okay.
Still kind of confused by it, you continue to just kind of walk, looking for a non-living tree to sleep on. Eventually you find one and lay down and take a quick rest. You wake up as the sun begins to set, maybe around 7 p.m. You stretch, a bit groggy from sleeping, and step down from the tree. It's now close to sunset, and you can either move into the forest, maybe find a shelter, or do something else.
Move into the forest more.
Yeah. Although the sun is setting, you don't feel too worried. You continue to move into the forest and explore. The trees don't seem to be getting any denser. In fact, the forest kind of looks the same since you entered it. Almost magnanimous, but in its own unique way. As you continue to walk, the sun starts to set, and you suddenly hear a howl from your left. You don't know what it is. It
Uh,
doesn't seem to have noticed you. It might just be like how wolves howl just because. However, you can either choose to move in the opposite direction of it, continue heading straight, or approach it.
mm, I'm gonna ignore that. I'm just gonna keep walking.
You ignore the howling beast. Kind of reminds you of a wolf. Regardless, you continue heading the direction you were heading, which you know is into the forest. You don't want to risk messing up your path, seeing how complicated this forest is to navigate. At this point, the sun is almost set over, and it's getting harder and harder to see. Navigating the woods becomes more and more difficult as you become slowly more and more start tripping over more and more things. You decide that making any more pace now will just be kind of annoying, and figure you should stop here for until the night passes.
Alright.
You can either ignore your own tellings and continue forward regardless, or set up a small shelter for you to relax, or alternatively, pocket dimension.
Yeah, I could do that. Actually, yeah, I would like to use my pocket dimension.
You activate your
See if I
advanced
could.
skill pocket dimension again, kind of feeling a bit of energy being sapped out of you. Imagine that's your mana, whatever that is. And step inside, and you're not sure how to enter it. You kind of just place your open hand on the cube and grab it, and it pulls you in. Next thing you know, you're launched into this dimension. It basically feels like an empty room. The walls are like this tannish gray with the floors. There's no decoration. Light seems to be coming out of the ceiling, but you don't know from where. And you look around you, and you're currently sitting on a massive pile of herbs and fruits. Uh, you step off the pile and kind of push it to a side of the room, and walk over to the other side of the room. You lay down and try to sleep. However, it's not gonna. Your sleep isn't the most comfortable because it is at the end of the day still a hard floor. However, that the room at the very
Yeah.
least is temperature controlled and isn't you're not gonna freeze to death. You lay down in your pocket dimension and open up your eyes. You think it's morning. You're not sure. You place your hand on the exit cube, kind of squeeze it, and you exit the pocket dimension again. You you
Oh,
open your eyes and you still feel a bit drained. You remember that it takes more energy to enter the room than put stuff in the room or put other people in the room. And so you can tell that took a lot out of you, and you should be careful how you use that from now on. Regardless, the sun seems to be just rising, bright enough to where you can see and can continue walking.
I continue walking into the forest to see if I could find anything.
Okay. You continue walking into the forest, still kind of unsure of what you're looking for. Still coming by the occasional animal here or two. It's obvious that they're intentionally avoiding you, which you can't blame for, they are animals. When suddenly you hear that howl again. This time it's from your right, and it sounds, you think it might be your imagination, but it sounds a bit closer than it was last time. Still, even after the howl, you kind of stand there cautiously for a few minutes and nothing happens. So you still think that whatever this is probably isn't after you. Regardless, the fact that it is still around you, despite the fact that you were walking for maybe an hour after you heard the first howl, tells you that something might be up. You can either choose to continue forward, go the opposite direction of the howl, or go towards this beast.
You know what? I'm getting tired of this beast. I'm going towards it.
Okay. Tired of what appears to be something stalking you, maybe a wolf, maybe something lesser, you begin to approach the direction of the howl. As you approach, after about 5 minutes of walking, you approach where you think you heard the beast sounds from, and everything kind of falls silent. It feels weird. The bustlingness of the forest kind of ends. Even the birds and like the small animals and critters have all kind of dispersed. You don't know what's happening, but it just is so unnerving. It's hearing this silence in what is normally the most naturally proficient biomes in the world. You look around you, wary of anything that might come out. You feel the sense that something is watching you. You don't know what or what it's after, but but you can kind of just feel it. It feels so odd. You can't put your finger on it. You kind of just stand there for what feels like minutes, maybe an hour, you have no idea. Regardless, something is there, and clearly nothing in the forest wants to deal with it. Eventually, finally, the silence is broken with the sound of a deafening roar. But unlike the howl, it's likely the same beast that was howling, but unlike a howl, this is the sound of something much more demented, much more terrifying and powerful. It's coming from
Oh,
it's coming from maybe 5 o'clock. What do you do?
uh, okay. Hmm. I fly up to get a better view to see what I'm, eventually going to look at.
Mhm. Without even turning around, knowing you can't waste any time, you immediately extend your wings and although you're still scared to fly, better than getting eaten by whatever this is, immediately boosting up into the sky just below the tree line. Maybe 5 meters, 6 meters off the ground, you then turn to face whatever this is, and you look below you to see this weird, massive creature. They have two strong.
Oh my.
They only have 2 legs and covered in spines. They have what appears to be fur that's dark blue with some black mixed into it. Their body is incredibly long. Actually, no, sorry, they have 2 pairs of legs. I meant 2 pairs of legs. Yeah. They have bodies incredibly long, and their back is covered in spines, just like their legs. They also have 2 heads, each with 3 pairs of eyes and multiple rows of razor sharp teeth. You can't estimate how far away it was from you when it roared because of how loud it was, but you can estimate that it definitely wasn't that close to you. At least not close enough that where you couldn't notice it. Whenever this thing was able to transverse the distance between where it was and where you were in a matter of seconds. You you have no idea what this thing is, but it is snarling at you viciously, and it wants to kill you. That was apparent. What do you do?
Hmm. Can I store it?
Can you what?
Can I store it?
Like, what do you mean store it?
If I get close enough in my pocket dimension, if I could bring things inside my pocket dimension, and
You
including
are
people,
welcome to try.
I'm
I give you
going,
full opportunity to try.
I am going to try and store it and deal with it later.
You attempt to find an angle to attack this thing and get it in your pocket dimension. However, having 2 pairs of heads that can look in opposite directions and each of them having 3 pairs of eyes, they easily have more than a 360 radius field of view, both up, down, left, right, back, and front. You're not gonna sneak up on this thing or get behind on it at all. And you try to get closer to it and attempt to stuck it in your pocket dimension, but it's clear that you're gonna need to touch it with the box to get it in there. It won't activate remotely. Thinking that this is a stupid idea, you stop before you get yourself killed.
All right then. I. Hmm. I'm going to see if I can use one of my other skills to see if I can just get away from it.
Like,
Hold on. My brain's stopping. Goddamn. Yeah, lesser teleport.
mm-hmm. You activate. You should think of any skills you picked of the 3 unique skills that made them had movement abilities. You recall patience has the skill lesser teleport. You activate the skill lesser teleport and teleport 10 meters away, attempting to cover yourself in foliage to avoid the predator. You teleport away, and the predator is clearly confused as you teleport to the tree. However, within about 5, as you try to sneak away, the predator begins to sniff the air and immediately points out to you and runs towards the tree you're at and begins clawing at it, attempting to get you out of it.
Ah, okay.
It's clawing at the tree. It's clawing at the
Hmm.
tree and attempting to tear it down. It will probably succeed in a bit. Regardless, you can still fly, so it's not like you're in any real danger right now.
Yeah, I can still fly. Meaning that invisibility won't work if it can sniff me out.
Yes,
So,
you
so
assume.
step. can easily just sniff me out, and there's no point in trying to go invisible.
This is true.
Mm. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm just gonna dip. There's no. I was gonna see if I could capture this thing like a Pokemon, but yeah, this
A
is
Pokemon.
not gonna work.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna
It's like a
gotta catch
Pokeball.
them all.
Gotta catch them all. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Gonna
you
fucking.
you attempt to just to fly away and kind of just like fly in weird patterns, zigzagging through the forest. However, this thing will just not let up. You're not experienced enough with flying to really know how to fly at high speeds or fly high enough, but it just keeps going for you. You fly around the forest for maybe 30 minutes and it just won't stop. You don't know why it's so determined to get you. Comparatively speaking, you are not that big compared to this beast anyways. Even if it were to catch you and eat you, it would barely be enough to feed it for the day. You had no idea why it's so determined to just to devour you. It just doesn't make sense.
Oh,
Regardless, it is relentlessly chasing you, and you have no idea what to do now. You either have to fight it or get used to the fact that this thing is going to be constantly following you, or continue to try to
can I
run.
try feeding?
Huh?
Can I try feeding it some of the things I collected?
Uh, you try pulling out some fruits and throwing it at it, and it just bounces off their face. It's a carnivore.
Ah, shit. Okay. Yeah. I have no other option. Why? If I run away, if I keep running, it's just gonna keep following me. If I fucking fight it, I'm likely gonna die. Is there a way out of the forest?
Back the way you came.
From okay. Yeah, then I'm gonna try running back the way I came, and if that doesn't work, then I'm just gonna have to fight the thing.
Hmm. You continue to you attempt to fly in the remember roughly in the direction you remember heading out in, and with this beast still on your tail, and you slowly start seeing the exit of the forest. You leave the forest, and this thing is still after you. You're on maybe the outskirts of the forest right now, and it's still just staring at you from below.
Dickhead. Fuck off. Leave me alone. Alright. Seeing that the forest is a bit too dangerous in getting a few, items, herbs, fruits, vegetables, I try flying I'm not flying, but walking the other direction
Huh?
to see what's over there. Oh, I try walking the other direction.
With this thing still just kind of underneath you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going. Yeah.
You head in the opposite direction of the forest and lure this thing now into the plains. It's still just kind of following you. At this point, it's even ignoring the other animals that come nearby. Not to say any animals want to come nearby. You're hovering at a distance until you look over the horizon and see a village in the distance. Realizing the
Ah,
direction you're
shit. Oh,
heading, you have to make a choice.
I'm fighting it. Okay. Yeah, there's no other point. I'm gonna have to fight this
Okay.
thing.
You
Yeah.
you decide to finally face this thing and not be a pussy.
Okay. You know what? I, what if I tried capturing it like a Pokemon? That didn't work.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Because it could fucking see me
Okay.
and smell me. Alright then. Uh, I try charging up patience as a virtue to see if that will do anything.
Give me 1 second. I gotta check something. I
Shit,
want to confirm something
okay.
here.
Is it how royally fucked I am?
Okay, never mind. Uh,
Okay.
okay. You begin to chart. You scroll in your mind through your list of skills, and you begin charting up patience as a virtue. The benefit here is that you don't have there's you can really wait. And so, how long do you want to charge it for?
I'm going to charge it for 2 minutes and try using days with the effects of patience as a virtue.
Okay. You charge up Patient Virtue for
Dazing
about 2 minutes, not wanting to let this beast wander around for too long. And what else did you say you wanted to do?
and fusing it with the other unique skill days.
Okay. So you begin to cast Patience and shoot this essentially charged ball of white light energy at this beast. You attempt to activate Daze as well. However, although the ball lands true and appears to do damage to this creature, Daze doesn't seem to activate. It appears that it only works when you either land a magic spell or directly touch the opponent.
All right.
The
My
beast seems slightly damaged. There are some burn marks on their body but they seem no less interested in giving up, which confuses
all
you
right.
even more because you're literally flying. Like this, it could probably
I was
find
like,
this,
what,
but for
like,
some
what the
reason
fuck?
it
What you
seems,
want from me?
yeah,
Okay, does it actually seem set on eating me or chasing me down and doing something else?
no idea,
I'm just trying. I'm just trying.
no idea.
Okay. You know what? This is gonna be a terrible but I fly down for like a few meters off the ground, so just in case it tries lunging at me to kill me, I can just fly back up.
Why?
Why? You know what? Why do we ask these questions? Why do we do these things?
Okay,
Because
well,
we're
you
too
attempt
cute.
to get closer to the beast by flying down a few meters, and the moment you're maybe 2 meters above it, it immediately jumps and lunges at you. You immediately boost back up,
Okay.
able to avoid it barely.
Okay, yeah, it's set on killing me. I keep charging up patience. I charge up patience, which is a virtue. This time for 3 minutes, and using it in flying with the skill. I think attack this, which
Uh,
increases in my attack power.
Attack boost is a passive, it always is active.
Okay then.
You release Pages of Virtue at full charge and smash into this creature's heads. It takes more damage and gets knocked over a bit. However, it is not letting up even for the slightest. Um, you feel yourself weakening, knowing that you maybe can only use Patience as a Virtue one more time before you have to stop.
Is there any important landmarks nearby besides the village?
The village is just barely over the horizon. You can't see the tops of the houses coming out. Other than that, no.
Uh, I don't want to village with this thing. On. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to just fall with it. I'm gonna have to use Room of the False God then. I'm gonna see what that does and see if I could try to command it to kill itself.
Okay. You activate unique ability God's Room from your unique skill, Remove the False God, and space around you immediately flips. Every single color is inverted, and the sky turns everything. The walls become black, and there's a weird mesmerizing aura surrounding the whole area. Now the beast is confused for a second, but immediately goes back to trying to kill you. You immediately feel what feels like your mana draining fast. You can if you can with your current mana pool, you think you can maintain this for maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, I have to be quick with this. I can make commands, right?
Yes.
That will. If this thing keeps coming after me for another minute or so, the room will continuously shock it until it's dead.
Mhm. Yeah, you activate the command of God's Room, and it begins. And after a minute passes, it begins to activate. Bolts of lightning shoot out from the room under your command. However, they don't seem to be doing much damage to this creature. Regardless of what commands you give God's Room, you remember that if the opponent is more powerful, it won't be able to do much. The bolts damage the beast slightly, chipping into its skin and peeling away chunks of flesh, but it seems no less deterred to fight you. In fact, it doesn't even seem to be phased by the pain. A minute and a half of this passes. You have 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah. To save my mana, I deactivate the room.
You deactivate the room about halfway through, about draining about half your mana pool. You feel weakened, but you're still able to fly.
Can this thing climb mountains?
How would you know?
I'm. But if it's no, then I'm going to go back to where I started. Try to see if I could stand up there to rest.
Okay. You begin to approach where you came from. However, you start to realize that you're feeling more fatigued. You can't keep up hovering much longer. You need to think of a solution now where you'll be forced to land and face this thing head on. You begin to approach the hills and the mountains in an attempt to get out, but you're still not sure what to do. What do you do?
Alright then. I use the remainder of my mana to go inside my pocket dimension.
You activate the last one of your mana to activate your pocket dimension and disappear. You sit there, and being in the pocket dimension allows you to sit down and really relax and fatigue. However, relax and fatigue. You feel the strain of your wings finally relaxing as you lay down and exhale for the first time since you exited the forest. You kind of just lay there, letting your stamina recover, thinking about what to do next.
Or the thing is trying to kill me, and it seems like patience is doing damage. Like, somewhat. If I go to the village is in danger, everyone could die. So it's either fight this thing head on or keep running in the same direction over and over again, tipping it. Basically being an absolute pussy. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have a weapon, but can I... Does the beast know where I am?
Yes.
Okay. Knows where I am, then it's expecting me to come out. I rest in the room until I can recover all my mana and my wings are ready to go again.
You rest in the room for a few hours until your mana pool is completely recovered and your wings feel fine. You then exit, and the beast was laying there waiting for you. And immediately
starts... Is it asleep?
No. Just...
God damn it.
Kind of just stares at you blankly. At this point, it's just past noon, and this thing is still under you. What do you do?
I charge up patience to virtue for even longer.
Yeah, you charge up patience of the virtue for as long as you feel it physically can. However, you realize that you've held it for too long, and it's taking up too much of your energy. You release it quickly, and it smashes into the beast at a great damage, but not enough to really seem to inflict enough to scare it off or whatever. And you feel that you've overextended it, and you probably won't be able to use it anymore today. As you hover there, still curious what to do, you hear a shout from the forest nearby you. It's only been approaching subconsciously. You look to the forest and you hear a voice from the from the forest, and it's you can't recognize the words they're saying because they're too far away. You can only pull out the sounds of a voice. Next thing you know, 5 large stone boulders are being launched towards this beast. They smash into the creature, and before it can regain its ground, a lance made of stone as well appears and crashes into the creature, followed by multiple bullets of air and a surge of water. The beast is pushed back completely, and the next thing you know, a fist made of pure fire comes from the sky and smashes into the beast's head, ripping one straight off. With one of its heads detached, the beast even with one of its heads detached, this beast doesn't seem to want to let up. And until arrows imbued with magic begin to strike it in the chest, finally killing it. Still completely fucking confused as to what happened, but just thankful that thing is dead. You finally land on the ground and turn to face the forest. You don't know who did that. But your question is simply answered as what appear to be elves walk out of the forest. You can either approach them or leave.
I approach him with my hands up.
Okay.
Cause weapons,
You approach
magic, fucking shit.
you approach them with your
Fucking with.
hands up, and they tell you that they're. And then the one who appears to be the most powerful speaks. Relax, we're not going to hurt you. You cautiously put your hands down and approach the elves. You can now talk to them.
I ask. I thank them for helping me deal with that beast, and I ask them who are they.
You thank them for defeating the beast, and that because it's been tormenting you for a little less than a day. And the main elf introduces himself as Roland. He says that he says yeah, he says I'm Roland. This is my scouting squad. We are part of the Wood Elf Spy Division and are responsible for charting the forest and ensuring everything goes to plan. We had gotten word that a Syntrex had recently appeared in the forest and seemed to be kind of running around. We quickly dispatched our best group to take care of it, only to discover that it had left the forest. Panicked, we quickly followed its tracks through the forest to find it hovering above, kind of just laying there, staring at something. We weren't sure what it was staring at. When we decided to wait a bit until it moved, curious what was happening, that's when you came out. Realizing that it was after you the entire time, we deemed it necessary and gathered enough information to dispatch the beast and unleashed a hell of magic attacks on it until it's dead. Those things are incredibly powerful, you know. There only a handful exist in the world at the time. You were just unfortunate enough to happen to run into one.
Great. Okay. I again thank them and ask them how they use magic like that.
He said, He said, well, all elves are raised magic. I look at you. You're a fallen angel, demon. Regardless, you should be able to use magic as well. Do you not?
I've forgotten how.
For, amnesia, I guess. I don't really. I guess that makes sense. Regardless, magic is quite simple. You just need to know the spell and be able to know the name of the spell and be able to envision it in your mind. And then you need to simply cast the name of the spell. And if you have enough mana to activate it, the spell will be cast. It's that simple. However, if you forget your magic abilities, you're gonna have to relearn some spells. What are your affinities?
I think it was light and wind.
Okay. Yeah. We if you yeah, light and wind, huh? Well, interesting combination. Regardless, yeah, that's basically the gist of magic. If you want to accompany us back to our city, you can. Just don't make a mess of things, or we will have to take care of you as well.
Okay. Oh, before we can I collect the beast that was chasing me all day?
The elf Roland stares at you, kind of confused. What do you mean by collect?
Oh, I used a skill called Pocket Dimension, where I could store things within that dimension for time.
Oh. Okay, sure if you want. I mean, I guess some parts of a Syntrex are valuable. I mean, if you want. Normally we come back and harvest the body individually, but if you can just store it and bring it with you, that'd be a great help.
No problem. I walk over to the secret and store it into my pocket dimension.
Yeah.
I finally caught the bastard, thank God.
You store the Syntrex in your pocket dimension, and you store the Syntrex in your pocket dimension and walk back to the elves. And Roland motions you to come with him, and him and the party of elves, along with you, begin heading back into the forest. The moment you enter the forest, he simply tells you to try. You can fly. He asks you if you can fly.
Yeah, I could fly. Why?
Okay. He said just want to be sure that you can keep up. Immediately, every single one of the wood elves seem to activate some sort of ability or magic, maybe, and jump roughly 10 feet off the ground into the trees. The next thing you know, they're dashing across the trees with perfect precision deeper into the forest. You immediately realize what he meant and activate your wings to quickly catch up with them and begin flying towards them as fast as you can. Even with your ability to fly and speed while flying through the forest, you're still only barely able to keep up with their speed jumping through the trees. You spend maybe 25 minutes following them. Clearly, they know the path better than you ever could, and eventually, you reach an opening in the woods, only to find a massive city standing before you, made up of made entirely of trees. You land as the elves also land on the ground, and as you land on the ground, the elves also do, and yeah, yeah, you land on the
Yeah.
ground. Yeah, the elves introduce yourself. And Roland introduces you and says, "Welcome to Salwalonia." He said Salwalonia is the city, is the kingdom of the Wood Elves. There are actually four districts that cover each side of the kingdom: Galdon, Hildred, Tonkalor, and Tonkalor and Winfield. Right? Yeah, yeah. He says that the current city they're in is Galdon, and it's the one they live in. He briefly explains to you how Salwalonia works, that each of the four cities is governed by a duke, and the duke reports their district heads, and the district heads are generally like mayors but with more power. Uh, the capital, and they also tell you that the capital city of Salwalonia sits in the center of the entire kingdom, called Haldradia, and that it was founded by Haldrados, and Haldrados, hence the name, and is also where the forest name comes from, which he explains to the forest you're currently in is called the Haldrados Forest. They explain that yeah, he explains that the capital city is by far the most prosperous and the most beautiful, and that if he wants to visit it, there are paths and there are guides he can likely ask to take him there. For now, though, he tells you that Galdon is the city they're currently in, and he can, there's an inn inside the city that's going to be marked by a sign. He says you can't miss it. He says for now he needs to return back to his superiors and report the Syntrax being dispatched of, and with that they leave, with you still standing at the gates of you with you still standing at the gates of Galdon.
I I walk through the gate. I'm gonna walk through and see what I can find over there.
Yeah, you enter the large city, and immediately your mind catches on the architecture. It's like it's like houses made of wood, but instead of wood, it's like trees and nature almost morphed into buildings. Like someone had control over the branches and logs and like extended and morphed them to form houses and buildings and other luxuries. It's very impressive and interesting to you. You look around and there are mostly wood elves walking about, with a few other magical creatures also appearing. But however, you clearly stick out like a sore thumb. However,
Obviously,
no one seems to be paying you too much mind with only the occasional glance and whisper. You continue to walk into the serene city, finally happy just to get away from that beast. What do you do?
find the end and rest. I am I'm going to sleep in a bed.
You look around for this inn that the person described to you, and that Roland described to you, and you go ahead and find it. You find it after a bit of searching, and you enter the inn, and you go approach the and okay, hold on.
Yeah, this session's going great. Definitely not. What's not in mortal danger 30 minutes in.
Okay, you enter the village. You enter the inn, and music starts playing. You feel more relaxed, just entering the place. Elves are all around, you know, enjoying the scenery, enjoying good drinks, and etc. etc. I'm just gonna play this a few times. Okay, yeah. You approach the innkeeper and ask for a room. He says that'll be five silvers for 3 nights. Realize you don't have any money. You remember what Roland said. He said, I'm just visiting by, and Roland said that he would vouch for me. The guy says, oh, Roland, huh? Yeah, that's fine. He said if he's gonna pay for the if he's gonna pay just for the 3 rooms, you know, go ahead and put that on his tab then. The innkeeper then guides you to the right side door and says, if you take the right, if you go down that way, up the stairs, 3rd room on the right, that'll be yours.
I thank the innkeeper and walk into my room.
He also tells you before you go that, oh, by the way, breakfast in the morning, free if you wake up early enough.
How early do I have to wake up for that?
He said, we're open for a few hours after the sun rises.
Okay. Thank you.
You head up to your room, enter 3rd room on the right. Entire room made out of trees like you expected, but there's a bed. You lay in the bed, and it may just be because you had to sleep on solid rock for the past few days, but it feels like the greatest bed you've ever laid on your entire fucking life. You collapse onto it, immediately resting your entire body and falling asleep within seconds.
Wow.
You wake up. Clearly, you remember that it was maybe evening when you went to sleep, and you wake up and open your eyes and look outside, and it's about sunrise. Maybe 8 a.m.
Yeah. I get up from my bed and walk downstairs.
Okay. You get up off of bed, stretching, feeling kind of better, and you head downstairs. You head off the inn, and the inn is bustling, not as much as it was in the night, which makes sense. And you approach the bartender, and the innkeeper, and ask him about, and you can ask him about the breakfast, or you can ask about something else.
I ask him about first breakfast. Then I'll ask some questions after that.
First and foremost, you ask him about breakfast, and he says, "Yeah, you're in time, kid. Take a seat. I'll have the chef bring out our standard plate for you." You exit. You sit down at one of the empty tables and kind of relax. You finally feeling like you're, not going to get attacked. You kind of lay back. Eventually, after waiting maybe 10, 20 minutes, a chef comes out and brings you your food. He puts down a plate in front of you and says, "This is our standard meal." You looks on your plate, and what you see is basically hash browns. What it looks like to be hash browns, at least, but lighter. Eggs cooked over easy. A pork chop, smaller in size than what you've seen in your world, but still decently sized. Covered in all garnished with herbs, and a bowl of fresh cut fruit. They appear to be glazed with sugar as well.
Oh my god, I scarfed that shit down. I'm not gonna lie, I am fucking.
Yeah. Within seconds, before the chef can even fully get back to the kitchen, you're already done eating maybe a third of the plate. You devour the food in record time, even the innkeeper's impressed. Yeah, the food was really good, tasted really nice. The waiter comes back and takes your plate and your cup. You can either interact with the locals, interact with the innkeeper, or leave, or do something else.
I interact with the innkeeper to ask if there's a market nearby where I could sell things.
Mm-hmm. You walk up to the innkeeper and he says, "What do you need, kid?"
I ask him if there's a market nearby where I could sell my things I collected in the forest.
He says, "A market, huh? sure, there's one, if you go out the end, head right, straight down past the first intersection, then turn left. That'll be the Ghelfi market. However, I should note, kid, that because this part of that, because, you know, the wood elves kind of own this forest, locally sourced goods like herbs and other fruits won't fetch a very high price unless they're high quality. It's not like you can't make money off of them, but I guarantee you, I'm telling you now, you're not gonna make as much as you think. I can tell because you're an Outlander that you don't really know this, but the best goods to sell are the kinds that, you know, you don't find around here. Other than that, you're gonna need herbs and fruits of exceptionally high quality to make a decent profit. He tells you that Salvalonia is a city based off of trade. They're the main trade city in Elvania, which you'll also learn is the name of the continent you're on, besides Salivictus, which he also explains is the city of the High Elves. He explains that because the Haldrados forest is closest to the other neighboring continents, that it takes in most of the trade and distributes it across the rest of the Elven continent. Because of this, that's where most of their income comes from, and locally sourced merchants and businesses don't thrive nearly as much as entrepreneurships and businesses that export goods, both to the rest of the continent and to other continents.
Okay. I thank the innkeeper and tell him that I'll be heading out to the market. Then
you think the you thank the innkeeper and you thank the innkeeper for the advice and exit the inn. You follow his advice, turning right from the exit of the tavern and heading down. You pass by the first intersection, still taking in kind of scenery. There are wood elves of all kinds, apes and sizes, wandering down the streets. Some look at you, some don't. Kids playing with their standard toys and such and whatnot. And you continue down the path. Eventually you reach the intersection he told you to turn at, and you turn left. And quickly you find yourself in the marketplace.
What to do next? I look around my surroundings to see what people are selling or buying.
You enter the market, and immediately you're overwhelmed by sound. You hear lots of noises, lots of peddlers, lots of buyers, lots of sellers, people announcing, get your fresh human fruit here, fresh human fruit. Other people sounding, we got your custom-made bracers directly from the Drow Elves, selling now before we ship them across. Regardless, you look all around and there's so much bustling going on. First thing you do is look for a place to sell your herbs, thinking you might be able to, but quickly you notice that the innkeeper was right, and no one really seems interested in buying or selling them. You do, however, recall that you have, you know, a massive beast in your pocket dimension that you might be able to get something out of. You hope.
You wanna check this out?
Yeah.
See if it's worth anything.
You walk down the market. Yeah.
Giant.
You walk down the market street looking for someone who would be interested in buying, in buying any part of this Syntrex that you caught. You look around and eventually, you find an alchemist. You think he's a good candidate, so you approach up to him. You approach up to him and attempt to sell the Syntrex. You walk up to him and he says, "What can I do for you? Are you interested in buying any of my potions? I guarantee you they're high quality."
I would like to try to sell this Syntrex for you.
He stares at you, kind of dumbfounded. Like, pardon?
Yeah, Syntrex. I pull out the fucking head of the Syntrex.
The man
from my pocket dimension.
The man recoils in back out of fear. Yeah, everyone else around you kind of stops and stares as well. just kind of looking at what just transpired. The alchemist explains to you. He says, "I get he's quickly regaining himself. He says, I guess you really did kill one, huh? Rather impressive." He says that.
Oh,
No, go ahead.
all right. No, I got a bit of help from Elves, kill this thing.
Oh, I see. Well, regardless, I don't have that much use for a Syntrex. There are some part of its bodies that are used in alchemy. However, if I would recommend you going to the Adventurers Guild and sending it there. They can distribute that and will pay you for every part of its body without having to distribute it amongst other people.
Oh, thank you for that information.
The man says, don't worry about it. If you want to go down the Adventurers Guild, continue down the market that way. He points to his left, and he says, and then take a right, and the first building, and then take down the right, and when you reach the cross section, take down the right, it'll be a cross section. Continue down that right, and eventually reach a dead end. That's the Adventurers Guild. The building should be like directly at the end of the road.
Alright, thank you. I head off to see if I can find
yeah. You head off.
Good.
You head off past the market and enter the streets of Galdon, and take the first right you see. You walk down the path and walk down the path into the intersection and continue going straight. Continuing to appreciate your surroundings, you can't help but notice how happy the people are around here. It really does seem like this place is prospering. You continue down and enter the and finally find the Adventurers Guild. Big building, got a big sword and arrow on it as you enter.
Alright. What do I see when I enter the guild?
The moment you enter the guild, you immediately notice the many adventurers are surrounding you. You see what appear to be humans, fairies, you think, even some smaller elves, some humanoids even. You suppose that that racial barriers can't stop it. Even those can't stop adventurers. You taking a second to appreciate the sight and approach the center desk where people are taking in adventurers.
Well, hello. I would like to try and sell a Dynax, I believe it was called. Syntrax, yeah.
The lady at the desk stares at you and quickly says, pardon? If I heard you right, did you say a Syntrax?
Yeah, I pull out the head from my pocket to mention.
The lady eeps and almost falls back on her chair, startled, and you quickly grab the attention of basically every single person in the guilds. They are all now staring at you with you holding the Syntrax head. The lady readjusts her glasses and stares at you like, yes. Do you have the whole body?
Yeah, I do.
She asks you if you can, follow her into the back, and you do. And once there, you find this empty storage room and dump the Syntrax body inside. The woman is still slightly startled seeing it, and she asks you, did you really defeat this thing on your own?
Oh no, I didn't. I got help from a few elves. I believe the squad leader's name was Roland?
Commander Roland. Yeah, he's the leader of the spy division here, as well as the standing army. That makes more sense. Okay. Well, since you're here, the woman looks at the body and says, "This is in not bad, pretty good condition, and you have every single aspect of the body." She does the math and tells it together, and she says Syntraxes are incredibly rare creatures. They are known to have an insatiable hunger that is never sated. You could feed them 20 pounds of food, and they'd still be hungry. Because of this, they're known as hyperbolic. This means that they will never stop fighting for food. Even if you half their body in half, or cut their head in half, until they're dead, they're not going to stop chasing something until they consume it.
You mean I fought that thing for a day, and all it did wanted to eat me?
That's probably the case. They're so hungry all the time that they can't distinguish what is more tasty than the other. They don't care. They just are in a constant need for hunger, which is why there are so few of them, because most of them just starve to death. There's less than a dozen in existence at a time, all of them here in Althvinhaim. But when one does appear, often we tend to dispatch it. Because no matter how many we kill, they always seem to appear back anyways. Regardless, they're rather useful if you know where to send the parts to. For this whole body in this condition, I can give you 20 gold coins for it.
You know what? I'll take that.
He hands you the pouch, hands you a leather pouch tied together, and you open it just to check, and you count, and indeed, there's 20 gold coins.
Okay. Before I forget, I throw it in my pocket dimension.
Yeah, you put the money in the pocket dimension, and head back out. People are clearly still talking about you. Curious, because many of them thinking that you defeat the Syntrax on your own. Eventually, as you exit the tavern, a big, burly elf approaches you. He looks intimidating, but he doesn't seem to mean any harm. He walks up to you and says, "Hey kid, did you really defeat that Syntrax?"
I didn't do it on my own. I got help from Commander Rowan.
You got Commander Roland to help you? Let me guess. How he said, and the elf says, like, "Let me guess. You accidentally encountered the Syntrax in the woods whilst Commander Roland was being detached to kill it, and you kind of just ran into each other."
More or less, I kind of stumbled into the woods, and it was chasing me for an entire day. I had to chip it down.
Ah, I see. Yeah. I've heard those Syntrax are relentless creatures and won't stop until they eat whatever they're looking at. Good on you for surviving, I suppose. Yeah. He said, you definitely look like adventure material. While you're here, you should register with the Adventurers Guild. You can take on quests and other things and make some money for it. The best part is, you get to meet a lot of cool people. He said, "Yeah."
I'll think about it.
He said each continent has their own Adventurers Guild. You register with one here in Althvinhaim, and you'll have a key. You'll have a card to use at any city. Besides Sal Lunar, they're not interested in adventurers. However, every the city in Althvinhaim you can register with. And he explains that he said another benefit is the Adventurers card allows you to keep track of your identity. Registering with the Adventurers Guild is the best way to make legitimacy for yourself. If people ever ask you who you are, or what you're doing, or if you have business in places, pulling out your Adventurers card, especially if you manage to achieve a high rank like B or A, they'll often waive you and just consider you a member. This is what a lot of immigrants or travelers to different continents will do. I'm sure you'll notice in this guild there are a lot of non-elves here. However, they carry legitimacy as citizens of Sallonia because they've registered with the Adventurers Guild and have been a name for themselves serving the people. And he says not to judge, but seeing your current disposition, there aren't many demons, especially not fallen angels around here. Most of them. So, if I were you, I'd recommend registering just for the sake of getting yourself out there and establishing yourself.
All right then, I might as well do that.
The man slaps you on the back hard, saying, "Good on you, kid." And you kind of get lunged forward a bit. Whoever he is strong.
You laugh it off. I'm not.
Yeah.
Right.
You laugh it off and begin to approach the desk. The woman greets you again, and she says, "Hi, how can I help you?"
Want to register with the Adventurers Guild.
The woman claps her hands together and says, "Great! We can get you right started. First, I'm gonna need your name."
Name? Elpis.
All right. A last name, or do you not have one?
I don't have one.
Okay.
I'd
Well,
rather
that's
not
Elpis
say.
and elements.
Wind and light.
Okay. Preferred weapon of choice?
Weapon? I don't have a weapon.
No, that's fine. That's not a requirement. Just something we tend to include. Age?
Not thinking about it. Hold on. In my mind, I'm thinking about it. How? Am I technically one, or still my current?
Up to you. Lie or don't lie. No one said you have to tell the truth.
That's fair.
Also, Dread, why'd you just use it? You should have abandoned Jamal, I say.
I abandoned him because he was like, give me 3 minutes, so I'm just gonna listen to Elvis suffer.
Alright.
Dread.
You have to fight one of the most powerful apex predators in the entire world.
Oh, let's go.
He got saved by the he got saved by one of the most powerful Wood Elf divisions.
Wow, man, imagine getting saved from a powerful creature. Couldn't give me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We don't talk about the.
I didn't think I'm almost dying.
Anyways, yeah. Woman asks for your age.
Dickhead. Oh, 24.
24. Okay.
I'm 20.
Rather young for a demon. Interesting. And race?
Race. Fallen angel.
And species demon. Okay. And I shouldn't think of anything else that would be important. Oh, sex?
Male.
Okay, male. And lastly, we need to register your mana and your skills. She pulls out this big stone tablet and kind of puts it on the desk. There's a big inscription on it. She tells you to place your either hand on directly in the center of the circle, with your palm extended and your fingers spread out. You do as she complies, and then place the hand on the tablet, and immediately it glows. She scribbles on a number and says, "Okay, mana pool. That would be this. Okay, and skills." Her eyes widen and she exclaims, what's the term? Surprise and excitement. You immediately instinctively ask, "What's wrong?" And she looks at you and says, "You have 3 unique skills?"
Is that not normal?
Everyone, as she says that, everyone in the guild turns around to look at you. You now, beforehand, you had gotten attention of most of the guild. Now, you have the attention of every single person in the building. She stares at you and says, "No! People are normally only born with 1 skill. Sometimes, every person's born with a skill or 2 skills. Maybe 1 in 50 are born with an advanced skill. But to be born with even 1 unique skill is a 1 in maybe 10,000 chance. And you're only 24. If you were like a demon, an archdemon who was maybe a few hundred years old, I could see it. But you're not even 30 yet. You already have 3 unique skills."
Yeah.
The entire room. She exclaims, "That is ridiculous. Even incredibly powerful beings, high-ranking elves, high-ranking demons, powerful fae, tend to only have 2 or 2 at best. Have 3 is just wow. I mean, it's not unheard of, nor is it completely uncommon. It's just for someone so young as you to already have this many. It's unheard of."
Well, I'm just... Well... I'm just speechless. I'm just speechless at this point, thinking about what that god said. I'm just like...
She immediately grabs your hand and shakes it and says, "We'd be welcome to have you here in Salwalonia's Adventurer Guild. 100%. Here, I'll go ahead and finish up your registration." And she quickly, with a lot of brisk, finishes up your card and hands it to you. You look at it and it says E rank on it. And she says, everyone starts at E rank, but as you complete quests, eventually you'll be able to do the Ascension trials and go from E to D to B to A, and then S, and then double S. However, with how many skills you have, I guarantee you will be making it to at least A in no time. The patrons around you express shock. A-rank adventurers are considered the best. They're considered the best that most people can achieve. Are considered the best that most people achieve, she explains to you. She says S and SS are reserved for heroes and kings and really... Not kings. She said the S and SS are tend to be heroes, or one in like a billion people. Regardless, she tells you that A is like the technical pinnacle for most people, which explains the gasp of the people around you when they hear her say that. You feel every single person's eyes on you as you thank her and take your your guild card and walk away.
I'm just reviewing everything that's happened thus far. Like, to the past, 3 to 4 days. I get reincarnated, get fucking chased by a fucking apex predator, I get saved. Apparently 3 unique skills are not normal in this world.
Yeah, you,
I'm just...
As you attempt to just hold your head down and try to leave the guild, but it's clear that these people aren't gonna let you leave without some answers. The guy who previously approached you walks up to you and says, "Wow, kid, 3 unique skills? I thought you looked unique, but I didn't expect that. You really are full of surprises, huh?"
Yeah.
He says, "Well, we haven't formally introduced ourselves. I'm Ghelfi. What's your name?"
I'm Elpis.
Elpis, huh? Weird name. Regardless, good to see that you registered, and, although with your powers, I agree with the guildmaster that you should be making it to the highest ranks of adventurers soon enough. If you'd like, you can join our party, you can join our party. We're about to head out on a mission. Our party is ranked at C, but, and although you're only at E, as long as you agree that we're supervising you, you can take on quests at our level. And by taking on quests at a higher level than normal, under certain rules, that can help you greatly boost your rank. So what do you say, kid?
This will only be temporary, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I...
It's not official contract or anything. You're basically just tagging along.
Alright, I'll join your party, but first I need to find Roland and thank him for the end
sure.
last night.
We're gonna be heading out. We're gonna be heading out tomorrow. Meet us in the tavern in the morning. If you want to go find Roland, there's a big building at the center of the city. Big, tall, built into a very large tree. You can't miss it. You'll find the entrance. Climb up the stairs. There'll be a lady who'll meet you at the center. That's basically the administrative building of the city. Ask her. They say you want to meet Roland and explain your situation. I'm sure she'll let you see him.
Thank you.
He says, "No problem, kid." As you leave the building, he once again slaps you on the back very hard, and but you maintain your balance better the second time. You laugh it off again and exit the building.
Wait, pause. Quick question. Does that mean I'm now the richest person out of everyone here?
In terms of
in
terms of money?
Yeah.
It's 10 bronze coins for a silver coin and 10 silver coins for a gold coin. So you have the equivalent of 200 silver coins, which is a lot of money, to say the least. If you remember that 3 nights costed 5 silver, so you technically have enough for
2 nights.
No, you technically have enough for 66 times
It's
20. You have enough for 120 nights at an inn.
Yeah.
It's not that much money, believe me, but it's a good for considering you just started. It is a lot. Yes.
Yeah. I'm just gonna. Oh my god. I just drop into this world, absolutely get fucked by a beast,
It's
get
kind of
saved.
creepy.
Honestly. I, I, I don't. I'm, I'm not gonna lie. I'm even shocked. My character at the shocked. I'm shocked at this point. I'm just like, eh, eh, eh. Okay, you can. Okay, let's continue. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just. God
You
damn.
you exit the Adventurers Guild and look around for the large building. Quickly you see it. It's just a big tree in the center of the city, and begin heading towards it. You walk towards it, continuing to look at the people. You know, kids playing, people talking, nothing out of the ordinary. You walk and approach the building, eventually reaching it. You walk up to the stairs and enter it. A woman at the front desk calls out to you. Hello, sir. How can I help you today?
I would like to see Commander Roland, please.
She asks, okay, what business do you
He,
have with Mr. Roland?
I need to explain that I joined the Adventurers Guild and I need to thank him for paying for my tab at the end. He also saved me from a giant beast in the forest.
I see. Can you be a little more specific? What exactly happened?
Well, I was fighting this thing called I believe it's called a sky. I can't
Syntrex.
pronounce it. Yes, Syntax. For about a day, and he found me and he saved me
The woman
with
says,
his
oh, okay, I see.
squad.
Yeah, sure. Mr. Roland isn't, particularly busy at the moment. You can see him. She, uh, she stands up and directs you to a pad. You step on it and a magic circle activates and teleports you above. You're a bit
What?
disorientated, not expecting to be teleported. And she looks at you and just says, "First time?"
First time.
Yeah. And she
Okay.
she directs you over to one of the main offices. And she says, "Commander Roland will be inside. Once you're done, just step on the teleportation pad and it'll take you down."
Alright, thank you. I enter Commander Roland's room.
You enter the office, and Commander Roland is sitting there working on some documents. He looks at you and says, "Oh, it's you. How can I help you?"
I would like to thank you for paying for my tab at the end last month.
He said, "Oh, of course. Don't mention it. By the way, I didn't catch your name.
Oh, Elpis.
Nice to meet you, Elpis. Yeah, no, don't mention it. Rarely we don't see really people out here, and I figured I could, it's the least I could do considering he managed to stop that, at the very least, stop that Syntrex from attacking anyone else by being a body shield for it."
Yeah. Man, how powerful are creatures in this world?
He said, "Well, the Syntrex is the only real dangerous animal here, if I'm being honest. The Aldrados forest is mostly a symbiotic ecosystem that functions kind of on its own, and most creatures they don't really have any dangerous animals, particularly. The Syntrex just happens to be that weird exception of a beast that just likes to, fuck with the natural order. There is
Uh,
there only the other thing that could be considered, I guess, dangerous is the Calmex. They're big, large animals that kind of run around and eat roots. They're the main source of local meat for the wood elves, as they come in abundance, and we also have them domestically. But other than that, yeah, no, the Syntrex is the only real dangerous creature, and only a couple appear every year.
oh, alright. Roland, how do I remind myself on how to learn magic?
He says, "Oh yeah, magic, right? Well, you said wind and light. Well, the best way would be to just to purchase a book on magic. I don't currently have any on me. I would recommend that there's a library. Not library. I recommend going to the Mages Guild. It should be, if you know where the Adventurers Guild is, it should be on the, if you return back to the Adventurers Guild, facing the Adventurers Guild, you go out and to the right, it'll be down there. They're close by.
Oh, all right. Again, thank you for everything you did for me yesterday.
Don't mention it. I'm just doing my job. With
I
that,
leave the room.
you exit the room and
And
step on the teleportation pad and leave. You can either go directly to the Mages Guild or maybe explore the city a bit.
I'm gonna go directly to the guild to see if I can find a magic book.
Okay. You head to the Adventurers Guild, and sorry, not Adventurers Guild. You head you head towards the direction of the Adventurers Guild, and once you're at the crossroads, instead of going towards the Adventurers Guild, you go to the other path, and eventually reach the Mages Guild. There's a big magic staff on it with some other elemental symbols on it. You enter the Mages Guild, and are quickly you can quickly tell that it is much more pristine and well kept together than the Adventurers Guild. Not to say the Adventurers Guild is messy, but simply that the Mages Guild had much more of a sophisticated style to it. As you see that similarly around here, people in here are all dressed in what you expect mages to be dressed in. Some have staffs, some seem to have orbs with elements inside of it. No one really pays you many attention, but here there are definitely a lot more variety of races. You don't really see any humans though. There's a lady sitting at the front desk working on, and that similar to just like the Adventurers Guild, that's talking to customers and other people.
Hey, do you have any magic books?
The lady looks up to you and says, "Magic books? Yeah, of course. What elements are you looking for? Elements are you looking for?"
Primarily wind and light.
He said, "Oh, okay. I assume those are your affinities. Yeah, we have Wind 101 and Light 101 in stock. Those will cover the basic spells. I assume you're a novice?
Yeah.
Okay. I
That's
recommend
more or
starting
less
with Wind 101 or Light 101. However, if you have the pockets for it, we do have in stock the Complete Guide to Wind Magic, which contains all basic, greater, and super spells for wind magic, and we also have the Complete Guide to Light Magic, which includes all basic, greater, and super spells for all greater and super spells for light magic as well.
All right.
They're
How
going to
much
be
will
more
that
expensive
cost?
though, so well, the light one, the wind 101 it will be 15 silver. The light 101 will be a gold piece and 5 silvers, and then the complete guide to wind will be 5 golds, and the complete guide to light will be 7 gold and 10 silver.
Damn. Alright, I'll be back with you later. I'm gonna go sit down to see what I can think here.
Okay. Take your time.
So do I want to take the 101? Could, if I go out adventuring, I could possibly make that money count. And again, probably more valuable for me to learn skills of this world. Alright. I'd like to buy the full book on wind magic.
Alright, that'll be 5 gold pieces. You
Right.
hand her 5 gold coins, and she hands you the book. It's rather big, pretty big actually. Like really big.
And how much is the book for Light Magic 101?
That'll be Light Magic 101 will be a gold piece.
Alright, I give her a gold piece.
Alright, you hand her a gold piece, and she gives you Light Magic 101. Not nearly as big as the full guide to wind magic.
Okay. It could work. Might as well start with wind magic.
Okay.
Seems a little bit more
She also
useful.
pulls you in and whispers, by the way, if you want to test out any magic, please don't do it in the city. We've had enough cases of new mages thinking that not understanding how spells work and shooting them off in the city and having problems. If you want to practice, you're welcome to, but please take it outside of the city.
Alright, thank you.
Says, no problem, and glad doing business with you. If you ever need any more information on mages, or want to buy maybe a catalyst, maybe some enchantments, or some artifacts next time, we're always here.
Alright. I head out towards the outskirts of the town to practice my magic.
Okay. You exit the city, and also really quickly check the time. It's approaching. It's evening. You maybe have a few hours before the sun goes down, so you quickly make haste to the gate. Remember the city, and exit the city. You are now you're not in the forest, but you're very much not in the city anymore.
Alright.
You look at the books you have, and you can decide which one you want to start with, either the full guide to wind magic or light 101.
I'll start with the wind magic.
Okay. You open up you open up the complete guide to wind magic, and it starts as this. Welcome to the complete guide of wind magic. This book will cover every wind magic spell you ever need to know, from the quality of life lesser spells to the tried and true basic spells to the powerful greater spells and the trump card super spells. Wind magic is one of the most versatile magic types, enabling for fast speed, quick attacks, and powerful physical enhancements. It's considered amongst the elements as the most quick-witted and best suited for fast attacks. If you have the wind element, congratulations, this is the kind of fighting style you should strive to achieve. Yeah, after reading the front cover, you turn to the index, and there are 4 categories, like the book said: lesser, basic, greater, and super. From what the intro page told you, it appears that these lesser spells are by far the weakest, don't really have much combat application, but are useful in day-to-day tasks. And then it says that basic spells are the tried and true, the simple, quick attack moves that all mages should know by heart. Greater spells are the faster stuff that the more advanced mages will dish out at a more limited rate. And super spells often tend to be the one-and-done spells that you use once a fight that can maybe even change the tide of a battle, but are risky to use. You can choose to flip to any one of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I will first want to learn the lesser spells to get used to what I'm learning.
Okay. Alright, there are 5 spells. It reads lesser. These lesser air spells are useful for day-to-day things, but don't have much practical application outside of it. The 5 spells read as listed below: Gust, Breath Control, Cloud of Fog, Small Cloud, and Leaf Whistle. You can pick any one of them to check out.
Alright, I will first learn Gust.
Alright, you pick up Gust. It says, Gust. You kind of ignore the other details for now because the spell is so weak it doesn't really matter. It says, Gust. The user creates a very light gust of wind from their palm. You remember what Roland told you about magic. All it takes is for you to have an adequate enough mana, and for you to envision the spell, and then cast the name.
I wonder, can I pour mana into the spell? Can I try pouring mana into this? I'm obviously gonna first try testing it out, and then try pouring mana into the spell.
What? I don't even know what that means.
Oh, am I allowed to go over the
the mana cost? No.
How much mana?
What?
Yeah, mana.
No.
No, I can't. I can't go over the cost.
No,
That's
why would you be able to do that?
Alright. What did it be? Alright then. Might as well just use Gust and test it out.
Okay. You kind of close your eyes and can try to imagine this for the first time. You imagine like what a gust looks like to you, try to visualize it, and imagine that coming out of your hand. And you extend your palm and just lightly say, gust. And the next thing you know, a small burst of wind comes out of your hand. You try it again, but this time pointing towards your face. And you kind of, yeah, you feel it. Just a light breeze brushing across your face.
Alright.
The other spells on the list include Breath Control, Cloud of Fog, Small Cloud, and Leaf Whistle. Alternatively, you can look at other spells.
What is it called? Dust of
skill, you dumb fuck.
Wait, it's not. Yeah. Okay, you know what? Sorry, I'm just there. I definitely can spell. Not just stupid. Okay. Try to lose the fog move.
Cloud of Fog.
Yeah.
You read it. It says Cloud of Fog. Mana cost 7. Duration 30 seconds. Creates a small cloud of fog around the size of a cat in front of the user. You close your eyes and try to imagine a big foggy cloud appearing in front of you. You cast Cloud of Fog, and just like it said, a large cloud of fog, roughly the shape of a cat, appears in front of you, kind of obstructing your view. After the duration ends, it disappears.
I wonder. Can I try finding a small animal?
You can try.
Alright, I'm gonna try finding a small animal to test something out.
You look around and look for any small animals and find some dogs running about. They're not domestic dogs, they're wild, but they should do the trick.
Alright. I use Cloud of Fog and intertwine with Daze to see if that would put them to sleep. Or at least, like, Daze on my face.
You activate Cloud of... The dog kind of approaches you, sniffing curiously. You activate Cloud of Fog on the dog, and then activate Daze. The dog is confused, obviously, by the Cloud of Fog, but also seems to get disheveled and confused, unable to really understand what's happening. They look weirdly dazed and tired until eventually recovering and running off.
Okay! That could be useful. An attack no one can expect to be as harmful as that. Alright. I decide to open back up the book and learn the rest of the
lesser spells.
Okay.
Yeah, the second spell on the list you see is Breath Control. It's Breath Control. Mana cost 5. Allows the user to alter the temperature of their breath from cold to hot. You close your eyes and kind of imagine like what your breath looks like whenever it's snowing, and like your breath whenever you're like cold. And so you imagine that and cast Breath Control. And then you exhale and kind of see, and when you first imagine it cold, and then blow on, and then exhale onto your hand, and it kind of almost freezes your hand. Not like physically, but it's very cold. And you imagine it as hot, and you exhale on your hand, and it immediately heats up your entire hand.
Oh my god, I'm going to fucking... I'm gonna use my breath as a weapon. This is amazing. Gonna fucking daze people. Gonna blow in their face.
Yeah. The next one on the list is Small Cloud. Mana cost 5. Duration 2 minutes. It creates a small cloud in front of the user. Similar to Cloud of Fog, you imagine creating this small cloud in front of you, and you cast Small Cloud. And, like it said, a small cloud appears in front of you that kind of just hovers there. It's not as view-obstructing as Cloud of Fog, but it's definitely harder to see through.
Is it like a cushiony cloud?
Kinda. Not enough to, like, sit on, but It looks like it. If you put your hand will go straight through it. Put it that way.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that it for the lesser spells?
There's one more.
Alright.
Like you just kind of stops typing.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember things before I forget them.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
And then the final one you see is Leaf Whistle. Mana cost 10, duration 3 minutes. Creates a magical leaf that the user can use to play music.
Oh my god, wait. Wait, can I play music to make people fall asleep? That's a,
I don't know.
I'm sorry. That's gonna be fun. That's
You
gonna be fun to
you
try.
imagine this cat appearing a magical leaf in your hand. You cast Leaf Whistle, and immediately a leaf appears in your hand. And to test it, you kind of put it in your mouth and blow, and like a sound comes out. Depending on how you blow on it and at what rate, what speed, and what temperature it changes. It clearly appears to change the pitch of the whistle. And
Yes, I'm gonna play Minecraft Effects on a Leaf Whistle. This is amazing.
That is the
this
end
is great.
of the lesser spells. They're all clearly very simple, and obviously you can tell they are, you know, as standard as they get.
Yeah.
Okay. Trying to remember as best as you can all the lesser spells. You look at the rest of the list. What's next are basic, greater, and super spells.
And okay, let's see. Great. Okay, next we're gonna learn basic spells.
Basic spells?
Yep.
Alright.
We're going down the list.
You open up basic spells, and this part is by far the largest part in the book. You look at the list and are almost overwhelmed. There's 15 spells here.
Oh my god. Okay, can I learn only 5?
Sure. You look through the list of air spells and decide to pick out 5 that you think could definitely assist you in combat. You look down the list, and the list reads as follows. Ariene, Wind Slash, Light Feet, Lesser Tornado, Gale Shot, Gust, Breeze Shot, Air Arrow, Lesser Storm, Wings of the Storm, Aerial Blade, Wind Vision, Light as the Wind, Backstep, Dash.
Let's see. I kind of want to learn more of the movement options first.
Okay, you look for spells that involve movement. You see Light Feet, Wings of the Storm, Light as the Wind, Backstep, and Dash.
Okay. I would like to learn Light Feet first.
Alright, Light Feet. Look at the spell Light Feet. It says, Light Feet. Mana cost, 60. Cooldown, 30 seconds. Duration, 30 seconds. The user's feet becomes imbued with magic, allowing the user to jump higher and run faster. You close your eyes and try to imagine your legs and feet being imbued with the power of the wind, and cast Light Feet. The first time it doesn't work, and it takes a few tries to really get the visualization correctly, but after a bit you cast Light Feet. You look down at your legs and feet, and they become surrounded in a greenish aura, and as well as with wind flowing around them. You attempt to run, and you find that you can run roughly 25% faster than you used to be able to, but you don't seem to be expending any more energy. You also try jumping, and so you're able to jump up to 5 feet.
Yeah.
After the 30 seconds, the spell ends.
Alright. Next one, I think it was back, yeah, that thing.
Yes.
I wrote back.
There's Light Feet, Wings of the Storm, Light as the Wind, Backstep, and Dash. Backstep. Mana cost 40, cooldown 10 seconds. The user creates a gust of wind that quickly carries them backwards 2 meters. It's a simple enough spell, and you close your eyes and are quickly able to get it and cast Backstep. Before you know it, a gust of wind appears below your feet and carries you back in a mere second, and carries you back by in 2 seconds 2 meters. It's a quick activation spell that has no charge time, that immediately sends you back using the power of wind by 2 meters.
Alright. Wings of the Storm next.
Okay. You look at the spell Wings of the Storm. Mana cost 50. Cooldown 30 seconds. Duration 10 seconds. If the user has wings, this spell will increase their flight speed. You close your eyes and try to imagine it, and quickly you get the spell and you cast Wings of the Storm. And your wings extend out and are quickly imbued with wind magic similar to light feet. You try flying, and you feel an incredible... It's almost like your wings aren't even there. They feel so much lighter, and every time you flap your wings, it boosts you maybe 30% more than you're used to. However, after the quick 10-second duration, the spell quickly ends and you land on the ground.
Alright. Dash. Which seems simple enough.
Dash. Dash. Mana cost 40, cooldown 10 seconds. The user creates a gust of wind that carries them forward 2 meters. You get this spell immediately because it's just backstep, but instead of backwards, it's forwards. And you cast it. Dash. And you immediately shoot forward 2 meters using the power of air.
Yeah! Alright. And I'll learn 2 attack spells. Wind Slash and Lesser Tornado.
Okay. You go down the list of spells again, I would like to know. But one seems to stand out as you're going through, which is Ariene. You don't know what it is, but its name definitely stands out from the rest of the spells. You can either choose to ignore it still, or learn the other spells.
Might as well take a detour. Let's learn Ariene.
Yeah. Ariene. The Ariene actually comes with its own unique description. It describes Ariene is one of many unique magical spells. Every single element has an associated weapon with it, the book tells you. Fire has Blaze Burn. Water has Aquamarine. Earth has Vanguard. Air has Ariene. Ice has Fractal. Lightning has Kaminari. And lightning has Kaminari.
Oh my god.
Of all the lightning has Kaminari, and he says that light has Prismatica, dark has Kenos, and he said the super rare element Cosmic also has one called Book of the Cosmos. He explains that unlike normal spells, which either cast a spell and it boosts you or gives you attacks, these weapon spells are unique for the element, as they summon a weapon to fight for you. And with that, the spell continues. Ariene, basic level. Mana cost 70. Cooldown 2 minutes. Duration 3 minutes. The user creates 2 small blades in their hand to wield and are as light as air. You can choose to attempt to cast a spell or continue with the other attack spells.
Hold on. This might work intertwined with my weapon mastery spell then.
I don't know. Figure it out.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
You imagine 2 almost like daggers of air appearing in your hand, and you cast Ariene, and the 2 blades appear in your hands. You look at them, and they're, as you imagine, they're small dagger, almost short swords. Kind of remind you of rapiers, but shorter and wider, and they're clearly made out of air. You then, in correspondence, activate your your advanced skill, Weapons Master, from unique skill Patience, and you feel it, and immediately you gain the knowledge of how to fight with dual bladed daggers. It's not as much as you thought it might have been. However, it's definitely a lot. However, you can tell that although you've learned how to use the weapons, applying it's going to be a different story.
Alright, I before coming back to trying to get used to RENA, I beast cast a spell and learn one more spell for a day before practicing the skill RENA.
You uncast RENA and they disappear. The other attack spells currently available are Wind Slash, Lesser Tornado, Gale Shot, Gust 2, Air Arrow, Lesser Storm, Aerial Blade, and Aerial Blade.
There's so many cool spells that sound really nice. I'm gonna go with Wind Slash.
With what? Wind Slash?
Wind Slash.
Okay. Mana, you read the Wind Slash spell. Mana cost 35, range 20 meters, cooldown 5 seconds. The user slashes with their hand, creating a wind slash that launches towards wherever they're aiming. You kind of imagine like the video games you used to play, where like they would throw out slashes of wind, and kind of envision that. You raise your hand up in almost like a knife hand shape, and slash the air while casting Wind Slash. Immediately from your slash, a large blade of wind appears, and you kind of aim it towards a tree. It cuts through grass fine, but it doesn't seem to be able to make, and it makes a small dent in the wood. However, it's not strong enough to cut through the tree. It is strong enough to cut through the plants, though.
Alright. I decide that I go back to RENA.
Okay, you once again cast RENA, and as you feel it, you kind of realize that your mana pool is starting to get a bit low. You should probably chill a bit. Regardless, you cast the spell, and RENA appears in your hands.
I practice getting used to the weapon.
Yeah, you kind of feel the conviction of how to use dual daggers, and eventually you feel like you're starting to get better with it. But then the sun is really quickly starting to set, and there really isn't much light left in the day. You continue practicing for the duration of RENA until eventually they disappear. Practice more, you're gonna have to cast them again, but your mana pool is really starting to get low.
Alright. That'll be enough for today, since I have to get to sleep. And
seeing the sun is starting to set, you close your books, put them in your pocket dimension, and head back to the inn. You enter the city. You once again enter the city, quickly finding your way to the tavern and entering it. You enter the tavern as night falls. Why is Discord being fucky? Okay, there we go. You enter the tavern. Wrong fucking. Yeah, you enter the tavern, and you enter the tavern, and there's a lot more people here than there was in the morning. You look around, and people are kind of partying, drinking, enjoying their time. Looks like everyone's having fun. You either choose to maybe join them a bit, maybe have a drink, or just go to sleep.
I will go to sleep.
Okay.
I have a long day. I have a long tomorrow.
You go to sleep, but you do, as you're walking by, you do hear some passing whispers, something about a festival. You're not sure what, but you don't really pay it much mind and go straight to bed. You go into your bed and fall asleep. You wake up, and wake up in the tavern and head back down. Once again, it's early enough for breakfast, and you think that it'd be a good idea to eat breakfast and then head out to meet up with the adventurer you met in the guild.
Alright. Glad to do that.
Yeah.
Oh, before I'm gonna go eat again.
Yeah.
Gonna go eat first, get my energy for the day, and go meet up with him.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't die.
So
Okay.
you once again talk to the innkeeper about breakfast. He says, "Sure, kid. You get served the same thing you eaten last time. However, even though it's the same meal, you still taste really good." After finishing your meal quickly, you thank the innkeeper for the food and head out. You continue the same path you went, reaching the Adventurers Guilds maybe around 8-9 p.m. You enter the guild and you see Galavan's party sitting there, and you approach them. Galavan calls out to you.
What's up?
He says, "Oh, hey kid, you made it. Great, we're just about to head out." He says, the commission for us this time is the guild wants us to hunt down some basic creatures. He said that we're gonna be making a bit of a journey. We'll be traveling to he tells you that it's gonna be a long day, and that I probably won't return back until night. So he tells you that if you have anything planned, just so you know, you're not going to have time for that.
Yeah. Don't worry, I have all the time in the world.
Alright.
It's gonna be too long and fast.
Yeah. He says that hold on, I'm reading something. Yeah. He said that they're gonna be heading to Winfield, which is where known as the port city of Saulonia. He said that they're gonna be taking a boat there and sailing on over to a different part of Elvania, known as he says that they're gonna be sailing around the Plateau of the Sun. He actually gives you a map. He hands you a map of Elvania. From this point on, you are now allowed to access the maps of Elvania.
Yay!
Unless you ever lose them, which I will tell you if you do.
I will never lose it.
Yeah. For now, you have access to the geographical, political, and oceanic maps of Elvania. He hands you a map and shows you where you are. You get a better idea of the world now, being able to see the entire continent of Elvania. You realize that the oasis is likely where you came from, and that the village of elves on the map is more likely than not the village you saw while fighting the Syntrex. You look at the map and kind of see where Saulonia is, and the man addresses you on the map. He says, "Here we are. We are currently here in Saulonia. We need to head down southeast here to Winfield, and then we'll take a boat across the Sea of Elves, and we're going to head around here, around the Plateau of the Sun, into the Kinshin Desert." He points to a massive desert covering the entire west side of Elvania. He explains that their goal there is to dispatch some creatures that have been recordingly getting more rowdy and have begun threatening to leave the Kinshin Desert and attack elsewhere.
This could be a desert. You know, since I've been seeing only green lately.
Yeah.
I don't think there's deserts on this land.
Mm-hmm.
Alright then. When do we head out?
We'll head out right now, if you're willing to go.
Yeah. Let's not waste time.
Okay. So you and the party get going. You follow him and you reach the exit. He says, "All right, we prepared a horse and carriage. This will take us to the this will take us to the place." You hop in the carriage and take an interesting look at the horse. The horse is most definitely not like anything you've ever seen before. It's like it's technically a horse, but my god, is it not like anything? But is it a very interesting looking horse? It doesn't have eyes, the first thing you noticed. However, it seems to be able to see perfectly fine. It has purple and black hide and 3 pairs of legs with gold-plated hooves. They have a long gold mane and a very long black tail. You are curious, but you don't really ask. You sit in the carriage, and the journey begins to the first destination, Winfield. As you're in the carriage, Galavan decides to introduce you to the party members. He said, "All right, kid. Now that we're officially settled here, allow me to introduce you to a party members. You know, I'm our warrior brawler. They call me Galavan. This is our This is our druid. He is an expert in earth magic, Geldon. Geldon greets you and says, "Nice to meet you." And over here is our mage. You look over, and it's a very prim, well-dressed female wood elf. She introduces herself as a Nava. And it says, "Finally, here's our archer." Another woman introduces herself as Kana. They're a party of 4, and they seem to be well equipped and experienced. You should probably introduce yourself.
All right. I'm Elpis. Nice to meet all of you.
They all say nice to meet you as well. And with the introduction out of the way, Galavan turns to you again and says, "So, now that introductions are out of the way, I gotta ask you, kid, how the hell did you get 3 unique skills? Were you born like that? Did you maybe acquire it from someone? How'd you do it?"
Well, I was always born like this, to be honest.
So you were just born with 3 unique skills? God, I wish I was that lucky. Couldn't imagine how rare that is. You must have been a prodigy amongst your family.
In my mind, I'm just saying it's technically not far off from the truth. So, yeah. Well, family life was interesting, to say the least.
I see. Well, with your skills, I'm sure this quest will be absolutely no trouble. Then Ivana looks at you and says, "Speaking of which, do you know any? I assume you know magic. May I ask what your affinities are?"
Wind and light.
Ooh. Interesting, she says. "I myself am Earth, and I only have Earth, but I think I've dedicated many study to the ways of Earth magic, and I can even use super magic, although I can only really use one spell before my mana pool is completely exhausted."
So it's like now or never.
Yeah, essentially.
Now or never.
The man. Yeah. You continue to talk through the day, and it takes maybe an hour and a half, but eventually you reach Winfield. You exit the carriage, and the horse returns to a stable, and the man says, "The horse we'll grab the horse when we come back." You enter Winfield, and it's very similar to Gardon. However, this over since this is a port city, there's clearly much more fish, sailors, and boating supplies and whatnot. You follow Galavan to the port, and immediately you're taken aback. There's the big, expansive open sea to you with large wood ships coming in and out of the port. Abundant trade. But the main thing that really just catches your eye is just the immensely large ocean standing before you, just kind of staring out at it. The endlessness of it, really taking you in for a moment. Galavan, until your sightseeing is interrupted by Galavan firmly slapping you on the back again, saying, "Hey, come on, kid, we ain't got time for sightseeing. We gotta get going."
Yeah. In my mind, it's like, God damn it, why can't I have anything? Why can't I think that's like, why can't I take anything and without being slapped on the back?
Yeah. You follow Galavan down to the port, and he shows you to a boat that he has rented out. He says, "I rented out this boat for the day. It'll be good to take us to the Kinshin Desert." You all board the boat, and the captain introduces himself as Vaymar and says he will be the one to take us to the Kinshin Desert. He shows you the path via his map, and how you'll be going around the Sea of Elves, around the Plateau of the Sun, and eventually reach the Kinshin Desert. He said they're gonna dock. He points to a point just beyond the mountain entrance. He points just beyond the mountain entrance. He shows you how the path that leads from the Kinchin Desert to the rest of the country and points just below that. He says we're going to dock right there in that grassy area, and then we'll continue on foot from there. You understand and begin traveling. As you walk, the party gets more interested in asking you some questions. Specifically, Galavan wants to actually no. So we'll say Ivana. Actually, no, we'll say Kana. Kana looks at you and kind of asks, "By the way, may I ask, if you don't mind me asking, how did you end up in the human realm?"
Human realm.
He said, "There's the demon realm and the human realm. Seeing that you're a demon, I assume you are from the demon realm, or am I mistaken?"
To be honest, I don't remember much. Mostly, I remember my early life, but then there's a giant blank.
I suppose that's fair.
Next thing I know, I wake up in a mountain area, get chased by a fucking giant
Yeah.
beast.
Yeah.
It,
Kana says, "Well, yeah. Well, the thing is just that when demons don't have physical bodies, they're entirely spiritual entities, and so whenever a demon is summoned to the overworld, they can't stay for long unless they receive a physical body. So some way or another, you managed to get a physical body, and so I was just kind of curious. Didn't mean to overstep," she says.
no, you're fine. I don't think you overstepped at all.
Yeah.
Very confused.
Yeah. She says, "Yeah. Well, I've met a few demons in my time. It was just interesting to see, especially a fallen angel. Interestingly, actually, you're falling. Which god did you serve? May I ask?"
I didn't really like this god I said.
Well, that's fair. I mean, yeah. To
It
fall at such a
was,
young age, though, you must have been quite rebellious.
all I remember from that god is that he was a giant prick.
Uh-huh. Well, at least you're free now, yeah. Well, maybe I guess we can just enjoy this journey, traveling and stuff. The rest of the journey is
Mm-hmm.
travel with mostly small talk, talking about like the team's previous adventures, talking about talking about the team's previous adventures, things they're gonna do, and like some of their ambitions and goals. You're kind of silent for most of it because you're still kind of confused what's happening, but you chime in every now and then. Before you know it,
I'm just thinking about.
yeah, as it starts to reach around maybe 2 to 3 p.m., you think you reach your destination. You can see, you can almost see the mountains of the desert ahead, and just when you disembark from the boat, the captain anchors the ship and says he'll be waiting for us there. However, if they're not back by nightfall, he will have to leave. You and the adventurers
Alright.
thank him and begin to walk towards the desert. As you walk towards the desert, Galavan asks again, "So, kid, how much experience you got fighting monsters?"
I mean, only fought, from what I can remember, only fought one,
So your
and that was that giant beast.
Your first encounter with the monster was a Syntrex. I couldn't think of something much more unfortunate.
Yeah. It shouldn't be too hard, right?
Oh yeah, no, nothing here is gonna be as deadly as those things. Well, actually, there may be, but if we encounter it, I think our party can beat it. He smiles at you roughly.
Alright.
You pick up the pace and eventually walk between the two large mountains, signaling the entrance of the Kinshin Desert. You enter and begin to approach, and around that is when Galavan actually explains to you, what you're looking for. He explains that there recently have been a large increase in essentially, he says, what are called lackeries. He explains that a Lackery is essentially an incredibly large, like snake-like creature that moves both above the sand and just below it. It's longer. It's on average longer than two. On average, it's more than 3, maybe 4 meters long, and has a mouth large enough to swallow pig's whole. He explains that their skin is very
Damn.
hard, almost scale-like, although they don't actually have scales, and orange with black spots. Their fangs are really large, and when fully extended, they're almost half a meter long, and are also retractable, so they don't have to have them out at all times. They have 2 pairs of eyes that allow them to see in every direction, and which allows them to sense prey. And they tend to wait burrowed under the sand for prey to walk over their mouth and eat them whole. He explains that the best way to catch. He says that the best way to catch a Lackery. He says that Lackeries can be deadly because you don't know when they're coming. Galavan explains that in order to do this, in order to protect us, Ivana casts a spell that, and immediately a large brown circle appears around you. She explains that she casted a special earth magic spell that will protect them from any like direct bites. Although it can be broken if they face a direct attack too deeply. So she says don't treat it as yeah. You can always ask her what spell it was, or push it off. Regardless, you are good.
Alright then.
As you walk,
Alright, I think I'm ready to go then.
yeah, as you continue to walk, she explains to you that the spell she used was Aura of Geo, a greater tier. It was a greater tier Earth spell. It should protect them for the time being. Yeah. Yeah. You continue to walk along the desert, and walk along the desert in silence, keeping an eye out. You kind of ask Galavan what they're looking for, and he says the only thing looking for is rumbles under the desert, any movements, etc., so that they can strike there. If not, well, I guess they're just waiting to be attacked. You continue to walk in silence for maybe another 15, 20 minutes until you look ahead. You see small rumbling in the sand and point it out.
Right, just small rumblings in the sand.
Galavan notices and says, "Oh, you're right. Party." He tells everyone, formations. Immediately, Galavan takes the front. Kana and Ivana take the rear, and Galdon and sorry, Galt and Dalgon. I think I named Galdon. I forget. I would say Geld. Yeah, Galdon takes the middle. You decide to join Galavan in the front, and slowly begin cautiously approaching the rumbling. As you walk forward, you notice that it's moving in a randomized pattern. Clearly, whatever it is, clearly is a moving thing. Right.
Yep.
And as you approach, it gets tired. And not so tired, but as you approach, it doesn't seem to run away, but it seems to be unfazed by you approaching. Galavan explains to you that the plan of attack is this. They're going to so he said Ivana is going to cast a spell and attempt to hit it under the sand. If she succeeds, it's going to pop out, and I want you to and he looks at you and says, I want you to immediately attack the creature. He said its scales are really hard, so just try your best to get into the skin, because once you're past the skin, you just need to gut it, and it should be fine. He said, I'll be behind you also, trying to get into it. As you prepare, you see Ivana begin to cast a spell, and a massive stone lance appears in her hand.
Wait, before that, am I allowed to do an action?
Yeah, sure.
Hearing that I need to break the skin, I decide to cause patience as a virtue for about a minute and hold it there.
You tell Galavan to wait a second and begin to cast Patience as a virtue. He tells you to fire. You tell Ivana to wait for his signal, and she agrees. As once Patience as a virtue charges for a full duration, you tell Ivana now, and she casts Stone Lance, and a massive lance of stone appears in her hand, and she throws it with really good accuracy. You note at the ground. It plunges into the ground and hits the Lackery. The Lackery pops out of the ground, its massive snake-like face appearing before you. And the moment you do, you release Patience as a virtue and get a direct hit just below its head. It strikes its neck, knocking it back, and you yell at Galavan now. The fight has begun. Shut up. I can delete your character from existence.
Oh, no, please. We can play Final Fantasy boss fight with this man. Just let me do that. Alright then, let's see what I'm gonna do. Here, see what skills I have. Oh. Alright. So, I cast Arene.
Yeah, you cast Arene, and 2 blades appear in your hand made of wind.
I then use Light Feet to charge at the beast and try to stab it.
Mm-hmm. You activate Light Feet while the beast is... You cast Arene, and 2 blades appear in your hand. You can quickly cast Light Feet in quick succession and charge towards the beast in your hand. It's clear that Galdon has also casted enhancement magic on Galavan as well, as he's able to keep up with you. You see wind magic also in his feet. You and him charge towards them together, and before the beast can get up, you pull out Arene and attempt to stab at essentially what is the beast's neck, almost, basically where you hit with Patience as a virtue. You attempt to hit it, and you use the boost from Light Feet to jump forward, and you just get high enough to hit it in the neck. You stab it in the neck and try to pull away at the flesh, but it's too hard, and you get lunged back. You land on the ground safely on both feet. Galavan also he pulls out a very long greatsword and lands a pretty good hit on its neck, but also gets flung back. You both land next to each other on your feet. You don't really take any damage. However, you can see there's a slight mark in the beast's neck from both of your attacks.
Alright. I decide to try to hit the mark with Wind Slash.
Okay. You stare at the beast and activate Wind Slash. However, the beast is already back up and dodges it.
Ah, god damn it. Alright. Wait, how weak is this creature?
I don't know. Figure it out.
Well, how much damage have we dealt to it?
Oh, there are marks along its neck. Not enough to bleed, but enough to reveal skin. Not enough to reveal pink flesh underneath their hard orange and brown skin.
Alright. I decide to amplify Galavan.
With?
Amplify. My skill.
Oh, your skill. Okay, I thought you meant okay. Yeah, you tell Galavan you're gonna help boost him and cast the skill Amplify. Your hand glows and that's not what Amplify does.
Either cast spells amplified for a short period of time. Go.
You cast that on yourself. The Amplify increases the ability of your own spells. What?
Okay.
Did you even read it?
Yeah. Alright. I had to cast. Alright then. Cast it on myself.
You cast what?
And. Okay, I cast Amplify on myself.
It's a skill, not a magic spell.
And. Yeah, skill, sorry. And try using Wind Slash again.
Okay. You activate your skill, Amplify, and try casting Wind Slash again. This time, the blade moves faster, but the beast only barely able to dodge it. However, the end of the slash cuts at the exposed part of their neck, and blood starts dripping out. Galavan tells you, good job.
Good.
He tells you he says, good job. Now, if we can just get our blades into that wound, we can probably decapitate the beast.
Yeah. Alright. Wonder if I can daze it a bit so they could go in and see if they can finish it off. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. I decide to use, I think, Cloud of Fog on the beast, intertwined with Daze. Yeah, with Daze. See if I could slow it down a bit, so I could get into a final blow.
You activate Cloud of Fog. You attempt to get close to the beast and activate Cloud of Fog and blow it and use Gust to blow it towards the thing while casting Daze. Galavan looks a bit confused as to what you're doing, but as the beast doesn't seem to ignore the Cloud of Fog, he doesn't see it as a threat. But suddenly the beast gets confused for a second. You scream now, and you and Galavan jump towards the beast with your blades and cut into the wound and don't decapitate, but mortally wound the beast. It is now now gravely injured. Realizing its predicament, the beast attempts to the Lackery attempts to start fleeing, but before it can dive back into the ground, you hear someone from behind. You hear Ivana from behind you casting twin aerial blades, and next thing you know, a large X-patterned shape blade made of air cuts through the air at quick speed and completely decapitates the Lackery.
Oh my shit! I just say in my mind, I'm learning that skill when I get back home.
Yeah. You afterwards, after the beast has been defeated, Galvan looks at you and says, "Hey, you can store things in your pocket dimension, right?"
Yeah.
He said, "Could you?"
I don't know how much space is in.
He said, "Can you check if this is enough?"
Alright. I can't really check if there's enough space in there for now, but I think it could work, being how I was able to carry the.
Yeah. You try and you're able to fit it in there. You're not sure how much room you have left, but only time will tell. You spend the rest of the day hunting down Lackeries and generally develop a similar strategy. You only need to kill 3 today, so after maybe an hour, you have 3 dispatched. Once all 3 were killed, you all head back to the boat and begin heading back home. Quest completed. Whilst on the boat, Galavan compliments you all, continuously slapping you on the back. He said, "That was a great job, kid. You synergize those skills of yours really come in handy, and you've synergized them pretty well with your skills, even though you only synergized those pretty well with your magic, even though you only know basic spells."
You were amazing too, Calvin.
He said,
"Terrifyingly strong."
Thanks, kid. It just takes a lot of training. You all sit there and laugh on the boat, enjoy a good time. Galavan pulls out some beer he had saved earlier, and y'all get a good drink before arriving back in Winfield.
Yeah. Alright.
After you arrive in Winfield, you take your horse out of the stable again, and it's almost night. The sun's just about done setting. As you approach on you set the horse to return back to Gardon, and you're kind of just chilling in the tavern in the carriage. All of you are pretty exhausted from the day. Avara looks at you before you arrive. I can kind of ask you, "Hey, Elpis, do you plan on attending the Sunstar Festival out of curiosity?"
The Sunstar Festival?
You don't know what the Sunstar
What's
Festival
that?
is? Well, you must be really new. Basically, there's across the ocean. You might have saw it when we passed the Plateau of the Sun. But on the Plateau of the Sun, if you look at your map, there's the nation of Salkyrith, the home of the Sun Elves. They are home to the largest religion in the world, the Sun Faith. The Sun Faith is mainly it's the only reason the Sun Faith is large because it's so open. It doesn't race doesn't really matter as long as you're willing to worship Mendias, the god of light. Anyone's really welcome. It's because of this that they have such a large following, and and uh, and basically what's known when they basically host by far the most elaborate and well-known festival, which is why I was kind of curious that you don't know it, which runs from Daluar the 8th to the 10th. And basically for the 3 days, school and jobs are paused in Salkirith, and the point of the festival is to celebrate the birthday of Mendias, the god of light, which is on the 10th. And this festival show is basically on the first day. There's a bunch of bright colors that all celebrate Mendias. It's a big party, big symbol, where big party, big event. The first day you party, spend time with family, and the high priest of the sun and the cardinals of the sun will personally set up games, cookouts, and other fun events for children and adults to enjoy. Foreigners are even welcome, even if you don't follow the religion, which makes it one of the most open, accepting religions, despite them disagreeing with other faiths. And also, it's a good time to explore traditional Sun-Elf cuisine and to buy Sun-Elf goods at a cheaper price. And considering you're a light magic user, that would involve a lot of light magic accessories and maybe even some artifacts. And then explains to you that the second day of the Sunstar Festival is dedicated to eating and drinking. People will have massive food stalls, you can buy stuff and play games. And the third day is dedicated to praying and worshipping Mendias and thanking him around the pantheon of the sun. Avara continues to explain to you that the Sunstar Festival, she says, the Sunstar Festival is by far the most well-known festival. People will often plan a visit to Salkirith months in advance, even from other continents, and even demons from the demon realm will make the journey over to Salkirith just to visit the festival. It is truly by far one of the most uniting events throughout the year and brings a lot of races together. If you're interested, the trip isn't too far, and it's going to be around a month from now. And she says, so if you're interested in going, I'd recommend it. It really is a great experience.
Sounds really interesting. I will stop by and see what's up with it. Seeing I can fly anyways.
It's true.
Shouldn't be too long of a flight.
Yeah. She says, all right. Just, one word of advice. If you're going to do that, don't fly over the Origin Lagoon. She points over to the map, and she notes the Origin Lagoon, which you had noticed before, this big, essentially, lake in the center of... She says, in the center of this lake, I'm sure you've noticed this Asylvius. That's essentially the capital of the Elven... of the people of the Elves. The Elves, they're run by the High Elf, and they're led by the High King, by the Elven King, by the King of the Elves, Elven Celeste. He is an incredibly old elf who's been around since the mythical age, and serves as the supreme entity and leader of all the elves. Asylvius doesn't exactly take kindly to anyone who isn't a high elf or an elf, so I would recommend not flying over their territory, because that might cause problems. I'd recommend flying around... She shows you the map. I recommend flying out of the Haldrados Forest, over the Oasis, through the Great Fairy Forest, and then to the Plateau of the Sun. She also notes that going around the Origin Lagoon through the ocean wouldn't be a good idea, because that's the territory of the Water Dragon Lord, and you don't want to get involved with her either, she says.
Can you repeat those directions? Because I'm...
She shows you the map, and basically says, just go around the Origin Lagoon, essentially. She says, from the Haldrados Forest, through the Oasis, through the Great Fairy Forest, and to the Plateau of the Sun. Then you'll arrive in Salkirith.
Alright. Got it.
Yeah, she says, yeah, I myself will be attending, because I find the festivities really enjoyable, she says.
Alright. So all I have to do is just go around the Origin Lagoon.
Yes.
Alright, didn't seem too hard.
It's really not. Just a bit longer. Yeah. So, and with that, you guys arrive back, the party and you arrive back in Gheldon, and they return to the Adventurers Guild. They return to the Adventurers Guild, and they wish you a goodbye, and you part ways.
I'm gonna miss those guys. hopefully we cross paths again.
Mm-hmm. You return to the tavern.
With that, I go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That I go to the inn and rest. Before resting, I go ahead and eat dinner, and then I go rest.
Yeah.
Wait, how much? Wait, how much money did I get from that quest?
Oh, they told you they told you they'll cash it in tomorrow, and they'll pay you once they do that.
All right. And with that, I think I'll end off session 1 there.
All right.
God, I don't think I got a lot more done than Tread did, right?
No, not really.
Yeah. Tread got more done than me, but I think I got a bit more spells.
True.
Yeah, right. I got more spells, more money.
Yeah.
A bit of experience fighting and not dying to a giant dragon.
True.
Or almost dying to one.
Okay. Well. All right. See ya. Good stuff.
Also, can you go over the memory stuff? Because
Yeah, I'll do that.
goddamn.